Hey, what is going on, guys? Krow of Murder 15 here with a brand new episode of Crow's Nest. Now, before we get started with today's episode, I do have one quick announcement. Next weekend, there will not be a new episode of Crow's Nest because I will be attending Colossal Con 2015 in Sandusky, Ohio. So that'll give you guys 2 weeks to reply to this episode's subject, which, trust me, it's a good one today. So before we get even started with that, let's get some replies from last week's subject on Avengers Age of Ultron. Callum Plays 24 says, I agree with you so much. Best Marvel film to date. The effects were just incredible. I saw it in IMAX and it was one of the greatest experiences ever when viewing a film. However, my only problems are really nitpicky things. An example is that there wasn't enough Rhodey, and there's no such thing as too much War Machine. Ultron was an amazing villain, and James Spader did an astounding job with the voice work. I actually really liked the development and focus on Hawkeye. Gave us more info on him, and showed us his struggle just being there. Callum, I definitely agree with everything on there. The development with Hawkeye was really good, just because in the first Avengers movie, he was just there. He was just a puppet, literally, because Loki just mind controlled him. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you introduced this brand new Marvel hero, and his main purpose in the very first movie that he is in, is he's the mind controlled one, and he doesn't even get any good action scenes until near the end of the movie. So it was a really good move on their part to do that. So kudos to them on that. And as far as like showing War Machine and Falcon and some of the other Marvel heroes, I think, in my own personal opinion, they gave just enough time for them, because the main focus was on the main Avengers themselves. And while they are going to expand on getting new Avengers, I think where the focus was on the main ones was good, but showing potential of there are going to be new Avengers joining the team soon. So I think it was just the right amount of screen time for them. Sean Anox, and I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right. If I'm not, I apologize, says, I thought it was a fantastic movie, though I wish it was the full length. They had to cut something like an hour off from it, which is why some of the scenes seem rushed. There were also a couple of scenes from the trailer that didn't make it into the theatrical release as well. Vision was a pretty interesting character, and I look forward to seeing him in upcoming films. Yeah, I do notice that in a lot of Hollywood movies, like, they'll show really cool scenes in, like, teaser trailers or the official trailers that won't make it into the final cut of the movie. And it does suck sometimes because of either production cuts, as far as budgets, or the time allowed for being able to film, how much time the movie is going to be, so it sucks like that sometimes. A really good example of that, I was talking to Thomas the other day about it, or not a few days, but like a while back. I was talking about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, which is getting a reboot, by the way, next year. And there were like a lot of cutscenes from it, so just that happens sometimes. But yeah, it was a really good movie, and I wish they would have done a little bit more with it, but with the allotted time that the movie did, it was really good. And Vision is a really cool character, and the way they developed him in the movie was fantastic. And that's your guys' replies. Thank you for sending them, and don't forget, for this episode, if you want to reply, your reply read on the episode, leave them down in the comments below. So, today's subject is a very interesting one. This was not suggested to me, but technically was an experience that I had over this past week. There is a group called Manga on Facebook, and I think it's like a anime movie company that does a lot of films and stuff. It's kind of like the American anime companies like Funimation and Animeplex, those kind of people. But they had this picture of Edward Elric looking really mad, and underneath it had a caption, and it said, "The look I give people when people call anime a cartoon." Now, this has been a subject that has been really different with me, because here's the way that I look at it. I view animes as cartoons. Here's why. Is because it's done the same thing. Literally, anime is the Japanese word for animation. Now, this can be interpreted all kinds of different ways, because people are saying anime isn't cartoons, and the first thing that a person thinks of when they think of cartoon is something kiddish, something childish, like Looney Tunes or anything from Disney, something like that. But that isn't always the case, because with both specters of it, you have cartoons that are in America that are aimed towards more mature audiences, like Family Guy and South Park, and then you have animes that are aimed more towards mature audiences, like Attack on Titan and High School of the Dead. So, in retrospect, it's basically the same thing. It's just they come from different countries and different animation styles. However, that is not to say that all cartoons are anime, though. It's kind of like, there was one comment down below, and I really, really liked it. And it said, anime equals cartoons. Cartoons do not always equal anime. Such as, watches equals clocks. Clocks do not always equal watches. And it's a very simple concept, and I do understand that there is a frustration of, you know, anime fans or otakus hearing somebody call their favorite anime a cartoon, but to a certain degree, it's not really derogatory in a sense, or at least in my viewpoint it's not, because if I'm sitting there watching, let's say, Dragon Ball Z, for example, somebody watches, oh, you're watching a cartoon. Well, it's technically called an anime, but you're right, it is a cartoon. It just happened to be drawn and developed in Japan. But I guess just everybody's viewpoint on it, or from what I've heard when people get mad about it, is when they hear cartoon, they instantly think of something childish. But like I said, there are different retrospects from anime and cartoons. Like, there are anime out there that are aimed towards children, like Pokemon, Digimon, Hamtaro, for example. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not a matter of you should feel ashamed for watching that type. It's just, I don't think that you should use cartoons or even listen to cartoons when somebody's trying to describe anime as a derogatory term, because in my own viewpoint, it's not. It literally is a cartoon. Now, there are animes that are three-dimensional, like 3D, you know, I'm trying to think of the right word, like 3D animated and not hand-sketched, and those aren't technically cartoons, that's just a different style of animation. But, like I said, anime is the Japanese word for animation. So, that's how I view it. What are your points on it? Do you think animes are cartoons, or do you just want to punch somebody in the face next time they say that your favorite anime is a cartoon? Leave your opinions down in the comment section below, and as always, leave your suggestions for the next episode of Crow's Nest down in the comments below. Other than that, I'm signing off here, so this is Krow Murder 15, signing off.